This is Recipe for Sleep, a podcast where we dust off very old cookbooks and let them lull us into dreamland. I'm Erin Brindley, a chef and storyteller. There have been many times in my life where I've had trouble falling asleep, or for me, more often, staying asleep. My mind loops around on things that I should have done or said, or things that are coming up. I heard someone once call that late night dwelling the time to think of those I have wronged and those who have wronged me. That sounds about right. Although sometimes I just worry about the world, which is easy to do these days, and why rest is so important. For me, the Sleep Podcast was a revelation. Podcasts like Nothing Much Happens, Sleep and Sorcery, and Lights Out Library feel like gifts to me, and now I depend on them whenever the nighttime ghosts interfere with my much needed rest. My goal with this podcast is to offer a similar gift to you. This is why we start each one with the same little meditation. The more frequently you listen, the more your brain will know it's time for sleep when you hear it. That's why every episode, before we get to the recipes, we start by tucking you in. Put away anything you were doing. Snuggle deep into your sweet covers. Imagine the kitchen of your mind. There are two cupboards there. Yesterday's cupboard, for all the things that have already happened that your mind wants to chew on, and tomorrow's cupboard, for all of the things you're going to do or what's going to happen later. It's time to put everything away in those cupboards. Imagine closing each one. You made it to this cozy, quiet time of day where there's nothing to do but listen to me read you old cookbooks until you drift off to sleep. And now, let's open up the butter-stained pages of 365 desserts, a dessert for every day of the year, and turn to page 91, where we left off. July. 1. Caramel Bavarian Cream. Soak half a box of gelatin in 1 cup of cold water for half hour. Dissolve over hot water. Whip 1 quart of cream to a stiff froth and turn into a basin. Add carefully 1 cup of pulverized sugar, the gelatin, 2 tablespoonfuls of caramel, 1 teaspoonful of vanilla, and 1/4 cup of sherry. Stir gently from the bottom toward the top until a cream begins to form. Then turn into a mold, previously wet with cold water, and put away to harden. 2. Strawberry tapioca. Wash half pint of tapioca in cold water. Then cover with cold water and soak overnight. Next morning, add 1 pint of boiling water. Place over the fire and simmer until clear. Stir in 1 quart of ripe strawberries. Turn into a dish and stand away to cool. Serve very cold with sugar and cream. 3. Neapolitan mousse. Soak 1/4 of a box of gelatin for half an hour in 1/4 of a cup of cold water. Whip 1 pint of cream. Dissolve the gelatin over hot water. Cut 1/4 of a pound of candied cherries. and the same of blanched almonds into small pieces. Turn the cream into a dish, add the gelatin, 2/3 of a cup of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoonful of sherry, 1 teaspoonful of vanilla, and the fruit and nuts. Stir carefully from the bottom toward the top until it begins to stiffen. Turn into an ice cream mold previously wet with cold water. Cover with a piece of greased writing paper, turned greased side up, and fit the cover of the mold on tightly. Pack in salt and ice and let stand for 1 hour. If it is necessary to hurry the freezing, turn the mousse first into a freezer and freeze slowly until it begins to thicken. Remove the dasher, take from the freezer, put in the mold and let stand, packed for 1 or 2 hours. 4. Rice jelly. Cover 1/4 of a box of gelatin with 1/4 of a cup of cold water and let it soak half an hour. Boil 4 tablespoonfuls of rice in a large kettle of boiling water for about 30 minutes. Allow the rice to boil rapidly so that the grains will not stick together. Drain and turn the rice carefully on a towel from side to side until the rice is entirely free from moisture. Whip 1 pint of cream, put it into a basin, stand in a pan of cracked ice, add 2/3 of a cup of powdered sugar, teaspoonful of vanilla, and if you use wine, 4 tablespoonfuls of sherry. Sprinkle over the rice. Stand the gelatin over the tea kettle, strain it into the cream, and stir constantly but carefully until the whole is partly congealed or until the rice remains on top. Turn into molds that have been wet in cold water and stand away to cool. Take half tumbler of currant jelly, add it to a gill of water, and stir over the fire until thoroughly melted. Put through a strainer, and when the pudding is ready to serve, turn carefully from the mold, pour over this jelly, and serve. 5. Strawberry dumpling. Make a dough precisely the same as for shortcake. Roll into a thin sheet and cut with a large, round cutter. Put 3 strawberries in the center of each. Fold the dough over. Roll gently in the hand until you have a ball-shaped dumpling. Stand these dumplings on a buttered plate. Place them in a steamer and steam 20 minutes. Serve with strawberry sauce. Beat 2 ounces of butter to a cream. Add gradually 1 cup of powdered sugar. Then add 1 mashed strawberry. Beat it well. Add another. And so continue until the sauce is a beautiful pink. If the strawberries give the sauce a curdled appearance, add just a little more sugar. Stand on the ice to harden. 6. Crusades. Cut rather stale bread into slices 1.5 inches thick. Then cut these into rounds with a round cutter. Select another half the size and stamp or cut it down halfway into the round of bread. Now scoop out the crumbs, leaving a wall in the center. After you have the desired number, plunge them into a kettle of smoking hot fat and fry until golden brown. Take out and turn quickly upside down to drain. When dry, dust thickly with powdered sugar, fill with preserved strawberries, and serve. 7. Coconut pudding. 1 pound of grated coconut, half pound of sugar, 6 eggs, half pound of butter, 1 glass of wine. Beat the butter and sugar very light. Add the eggs separately beaten and half a teacup of grated sponge cake. Bake half an hour and ornament with strips of citron. Serve with liquid wine sauce. 8. Lemon foam. Beat 8 eggs, yolks and whites separately. To the yolks, add half pound of sugar, the juice and grated peel of 3 lemons. If preferred, in a mold, add half an ounce of gelatin dissolved in a little water. Let it simmer 2 or 3 times over the fire till it thickens. When cool, whip the whites to a froth, put them in, and beat well. If made without gelatin, serve in glasses or a dish. 9. Alexandrines. Put half pound of sugar and half pint of water over the fire and boil. After it begins to boil, for about 5 minutes, or until it spins a thread from the tine of a fork. Have ready the yolks of 3 eggs well beaten. Add them to the boiling syrup and beat constantly for at least 15 minutes until the mixture looks like sponge cake batter. Now, add a dessert spoonful of vanilla extract, or better, a teaspoonful of vanilla sugar. Add a pint and a half of cold water and turn the mixture into a freezer and freeze. This is nothing but an egg water ice. Now have ready 1/4 of a pound of conserved fruit, chopped fine. You may use a mixture of cherries, pineapples, grapes, and if you like, apricots. Or you can use cherries alone. Stir these in and stand aside for 1 hour to ripen. It must not stand too long as the fruit will harden so as to be uneatable. 10. Ginger sherbet. Make a lemon water ice and freeze. Cut 4 ounces of preserved ginger into very small pieces, adding it to 2 tablespoonfuls of the ginger syrup. 11. Stuffed Spanish cake. Take a cold sponge cake of the desired size and soak thoroughly in the sweet Spanish wine. Stick closely over the surface large seedless raisins and blanched almonds. Just before serving, pour over a cold, rich Spanish cream, which is composed of 6 eggs, pint of milk, teacup of sugar, a stick of cinnamon, and a stiff jelly whipped in at the time of service. 12. Cream cornstarch pudding. Put 1 pint of milk in a double boiler. Measure 4 even tablespoonfuls of cornstarch. Moisten with a little cold milk. Add this to the hot milk. Add a half a cup of sugar. Stir and cook constantly for 5 minutes. Then take from the fire. Add hastily the beaten whites of 4 eggs, a teaspoonful of vanilla, and turn into a mold to cool. Serve with custard made from the yolks of the eggs poured around. 13. Delmont pudding. Set 1 quart of milk into water and let it boil. Beat the yolks of 5 eggs with 4 teaspoonfuls of cornstarch and 1 cup of sugar. Cook in the milk and flavor to taste. Beat the whites of 5 eggs with ½ cup of sugar, flavor, and pour over the top. Set in the oven until a light brown. 14. Bakewell pudding. Line a deep English pie dish with rich paste rolled thin. Cover with preserves to the depth of 1 inch. Then beat together the yolks of 8 eggs and whites of 2, ½ pound of butter, ½ pound of powdered sugar. Flavor with almond and thoroughly mix. Pour over the preserves and bake in a moderate oven till set. Then beat the remaining whites to a stiff froth. Add a little sugar. Pile over the pudding. Return to the oven to brown. This is to be eaten cold. 15. Nesselrode pudding. Francatelli. Make a pulp of 3 dozen large chestnuts. Put into a saucepan with the yolks of 8 eggs, 1 pint of cream, a small vanilla bean powdered, a teaspoonful of salt, and a ½ pint of pineapple syrup. Stir these ingredients over the fire until the egg begins to thicken. Take the cream from the fire, rub it through a fine sieve, cool and half freeze. While the pudding is being frozen, cut the following fruit into small pieces and put it into a bowl with a gill of maraschino: 1/4 pound seedless raisins, candied cherries, candied pineapple, citron, and ½ pint of cream whipped. When the pudding is half frozen, mix the cream and fruit with it and finish freezing. 16. Will's sago pudding. 1 quart of boiling water turned upon a cup of sago. Have your pudding dish filled with apples pared and quartered. Stir the sago well and turn over the apples. Bake and eat with sauce or cream and sugar. Tapioca can be cooked in the same way. 17. Strawberry sherbet. Mash 1 quart of ripe strawberries with 1 pound of granulated sugar. Add the juice of 1 lemon and 1 tablespoonful of rose water. Let it stand for 2 hours, then strain through a cheesecloth. Add 1 pint of water and stand in ice until wanted. 18. Farina pudding. Boil 1 quart of milk. Sprinkle in gradually 2 even tablespoonfuls of farina and stir well till it thickens. Then let it boil slowly about 5 minutes. Take 3 beaten eggs, ½ cup of sugar, 2 tablespoonfuls of melted butter, and a little salt, and stir into the farina and milk. Flavor with lemon. Bake ½ an hour in a quick oven and eat warm. 19. Whortleberry pie. Wash and pick over the berries. Place them an inch thick on the undercrust, covering them thickly with sugar. Add a small piece of butter, cover with the upper crust, and bake half an hour. Blackberry and raspberry pies are made the same way. They require no spice. But whortleberries are greatly improved by having a few currants or the juice of a lemon mixed with them. Sift powdered sugar over all fruit pies before serving. 20. Gelatin cream. Cover 1/4 of a box of gelatin with 1/4 of a cup of cold water. Soak half an hour. Then add to it half a cup of sugar and a half pint of hot milk. Stir until the gelatin is dissolved. Add a teaspoonful of vanilla. Strain and turn into a basin to cool. When cool, beat rapidly for 5 minutes. Put in a mold in a cold place to harden. 21. Pineapple sherbet. Put 2 cups of water and 3 cups of sugar on to boil. Stir until the sugar is dissolved, then boil 5 minutes. Take a pint can of pineapple and pour as much as possible, juice and all, through a colander. Add this to the sugar and water with the juice of 1 lemon. Set away to cool. When cool, strain into freezer and freeze steadily until quite stiff. Remove the dasher and add white of 1 egg, beaten to a stiff froth, and 1 tablespoonful powdered sugar. Beat well with spoon, pack, and set aside to ripen. 22. German souffle. Put a thick layer of stewed apples at the bottom of a dish. Make a custard with the well-beaten yolks of 3 eggs, a pint of milk, and sugar to taste. Pour the custard over the stewed apples. Beat the whites of eggs to a very stiff froth. And when the custard is cold, pile it on the top. Then bake lightly and serve hot. 23. Rice pudding. 1 quart of milk, half cup of sugar, 1 teaspoonful of rose or vanilla extract, 1 teaspoonful butter, half cup of rice. Merely wash the rice, and after adding it to the sweetened pudding, put in the oven, occasionally stirring for the first 4 minutes. It will be of the consistency of ice cream and very delicate. Bake until brown on top. 24. Cantaloupe Bavarian cream. Cover half a box of gelatin with half a cup of cold water and let stand for half an hour. Dissolve over hot water. Whip 1 pint of cream to a stiff froth. Turn into a basin. Add half a cup of pulverized sugar, a pinch of salt, a teaspoonful of vanilla, 1 tablespoonful of sherry, and the gelatin. Stir from the bottom toward the top until it begins to form a little. Add 1/4 of a cup of chopped candied fruit and continue stirring until the cream forms. Turn into a mold previously wet with cold water and stand away to harden. When ready to serve, sprinkle chopped angelica over the top and serve on a garnish of ladyfingers. 25. Fairy toast. Toast slices of stale sponge cake and cut into pieces 2-inch square. Put a half a tumbler of apple or any light colored jelly into the glass of a number one Keystone egg beater and beat slowly and continuously until very light. Then mix in carefully the well beaten white of one egg. Spread this over the squares of toast and place a large canned cherry in the middle of each square. Serve cold with cream. 26. Nantucket berry pudding. Wet with milk or water, 1 pint of grated cold potatoes, 1 pint of flour, 1/4 of a pound of butter, a teaspoonful of salt to the consistency of soft biscuit dough. Roll it. Spread with any berries or even dried ones or xantha currants. Roll again and fasten in a cloth. Steam an hour and a quarter. Eat with any sweet sauce. 27. Farina pudding. Heat 1 quart of milk to the boiling point. Stir in dry 5 tablespoonfuls of farina and continue to stir till quite thick. Add 1 cupful of sugar and a half teaspoonful of salt. Flavor with lemon or vanilla and eat with sweetened cream or milk. 28. Vanilla ice cream. Scald 1 pint of cream. Add 1 cup of granulated sugar and stir continually, not only till the sugar is dissolved, but for fully 10 minutes. The cream should look blue and thin. When cooked sufficiently, take from the fire, add another pint of cream, and cool. When cold, add 1 tablespoonful of vanilla and freeze. 29. Peach tapioca pudding. Set half a pint of tapioca in cold water for 2 or 3 hours. Then place on stove until it boils. Sweeten with white sugar. Peel and slice ripe peaches to nearly fill a baking dish. Sprinkle over them white sugar. Then pour over the tapioca and bake slowly for 1 hour. To be eaten with cream and sugar. 30. Apple souffle. Chop 8 apples and put them in a stew pan with a tablespoonful of cold water, half pound of white sugar, and a piece of lemon peel. Boil to a marmalade, stirring all the time. Beat lightly with a little sugar the whites of 6 eggs. Take out the lemon peel. Add the apples to the eggs. Put in a buttered dish. Smooth the top with a knife and bake 25 minutes. Serve hot. 31. Tapioca ice. Soak 1 cup of pearl tapioca overnight. In the morning, boil in water until it clears, adding 1 cup of sugar and a little salt. Have a ripe pineapple chopped, not too fine, and turn the tapioca and sugar over it while boiling hot. Stir and turn into a mold to cool. To be eaten with sugar and cream. August. 1. Banana pudding. Cut sponge cake in slices, and in a glass dish, put alternate layers of cake and slices of banana. Make a soft custard, flavor with a little wine, and pour over it. Beat the whites of the eggs to a stiff froth and heap over the whole. 2. Watermelon with sherry. Take a ripe watermelon and cut out a deep plug. Through this, pour gently and slowly 1 pint, or more if the melon will hold it, of sherry. Put in the plug and put it on the ice for 5 or 6 hours or until the sherry has permeated the melon. 3. Kiss pudding. Put 1 pint of milk into a double boiler to heat. Moisten 4 even tablespoonfuls of cornstarch in a little cold milk. Then stir it into the hot milk and cook 2 minutes. Add a half a cup of sugar, the well-beaten yolks of 4 eggs, and 1 teaspoonful of vanilla. Pour into a pudding pan and sprinkle with a layer of grated coconut. Beat the whites of the eggs to a stiff, dry froth. Add 2 tablespoonfuls of powdered sugar. Mix lightly and heap over the pudding. Put in the oven a moment to brown. Watch carefully as it takes but an instant to burn. Serve cold. 4. Pineapple souffle, frozen. Separate 6 eggs. Beat the yolks until creamy. Pare and grate 2 medium pineapples. The pulp must measure 1 pint. Add to this the juice of 1 lemon and 1 pound granulated sugar. Stir until the sugar is thoroughly dissolved. Cover half box of gelatin with half cup of cold water and allow it to soak while the pineapple is being prepared. Add the beaten yolks to the pineapple. Mix carefully. Put the gelatin over a kettle of hot water and when thoroughly dissolved, add it to the pineapple. Turn the pineapple into a tin basin and stand this in a pan of cracked ice. Stir carefully until the mixture begins to thicken. Then add hastily 1 pint of cream, thoroughly whipped. Turn this into a mold, put on the lid, bind the seam with a piece of muslin dipped in butter or melted suet, and pack the mold in salt and ice. Let it stand 2 hours. This should be frozen at least 1 inch on the outside, the center soft. 5. Iced peaches. Pare the peaches and mash them. Add 1 pint of water, half pound of sugar. Stir until sugar is dissolved. Then turn into a small freezer. Pack with coarse salt and ice. Turn until frozen and serve at once. Gold and silver pudding. 1 quart of milk, 1 cup of sugar, 6 eggs, leaving out the whites of 4. Scald the milk. Add sugar and dissolve cornstarch, and 1 wineglass of sherry. Bake for half an hour. When cold, cover with a frosting made of the whites of 4 eggs, a cup of pulverized sugar. Add flavoring. Brown in a hot oven. 7. Tapioca cream. Cover 3 tablespoonfuls of tapioca with cold water and soak for 3 hours. Drain and put in the farina boiler with 1 quart of milk. Cook for half hour or until the tapioca is very clear and soft. Beat the yolks of 4 eggs light. Add to them a cup of granulated sugar and beat again. 5 minutes before taking the pudding from the fire, add the eggs to the milk and tapioca and stir until it begins to thicken. Take from the fire, add a teaspoonful of vanilla, and turn into a greased baking dish. Make a meringue of the whites of 3 eggs with 4 tablespoonfuls of powdered sugar. Cover the top of the pudding and brown in a moderately quick oven. Serve cold. 8. Pancake. Separate 2 eggs, beat the yolks, add to them 1 gill of milk, 1/4 teaspoonful of salt, a tablespoonful of melted butter, and about 2/3 of a cup of flour. Beat well. Add the well beaten whites. Put a teaspoonful of butter in the frying pan. When hot, pour on a very thin layer of the batter. Brown one side, turn, and brown the other. Spread thickly with jam, roll, dust with powdered sugar, and serve. The batter must be quite thin. 9. Frozen mint. Make a plain lemon water ice, and when frozen very hard, add, stirring all the while, a mint julep made as follows. Bruise several sprigs of mint in 2 or 3 tablespoonfuls of water, sweetened with 1 lump of sugar. Add 1 cup of brandy and 1 of sherry. Let it stand for 10 minutes and strain. When the julep has been added to the water ice, pack the freezer. Allow the mint to stand some hours to ripen before freezing. 10. Apple sago. Cover half pint sago with 1 pint of water. Soak overnight. In the morning, add 1 pint of hot water. Stand a saucepan over the fire and cook very slowly without stirring until the sago is clear. If the water has been entirely absorbed, add sufficient to make it the proper consistency. Pare and core the desired number of apples. While the sago is cooking, the apples also can be cooking in the oven. Put them in a tin basin. Add 4 tablespoonfuls of sugar and a cup of water. Place them in the oven and cook slowly until you can pierce them with a fork. Now fill the cores with sago and cover them all over with what remains. Stand the mixture away until ice cold. Serve with sugar and cream. 11. Frozen plum pudding. Put 1 pint of milk in a double boiler. Add to it 1 cup of stoned raisins. Cover the boiler and stand over a moderate fire for 30 minutes. Now add to this milk 1/2 pound of almonds that have been dried and grated, 12 good-sized boiled chestnuts chopped into small pieces, 1/4 of a pound of citron shredded, and if you can get it, 1/4 of a pound of candied pineapple. Let all these soak together for 1 hour. Put a pint of cream now in a double boiler and add to it 9 ounces of sugar. Stir until the sugar is dissolved. Take it from the fire and add 1 pint of uncooked cream and raisin mixture. Add a teaspoonful of vanilla, a tablespoonful of brandy, and the grated rind of 1 orange and 1 lemon. Turn this mixture into the freezer. Stir constantly until the mass is well frozen. Stand away for 2 hours to ripen. 12. Frozen watermelon. Cut from the side of a melon, a sort of 3-cornered piece. Then on the other side, the same, forming as it were a basket with a handle, the same as you make orange baskets. Take all the ripe portion and put aside in an earthen bowl, and trim the handle and basket in a good shape. Remove the seeds from the pulp, and with a silver spoon, chop and mash the pulp of a large watermelon. Add 1 cup of powdered sugar. Stir until the sugar is dissolved. Turn into a freezer and freeze. When ready to serve, put back into the watermelon rind and serve at once. It will require the ripe portion of 2 melons to fill the basket full. In a small family, a basket might be made from half the rind, making a long handle. Take from the bottom a slice to make it stand even. 13. Huckleberry shortcake. Beat 2 tablespoonfuls of butter to a cream with half cup of sugar. Add 1 egg unbeaten and beat the mixture very light. Add 4 tablespoonfuls of milk and 3/4 of a cup of flour, to which has been added 1 teaspoonful baking powder. Mix quickly and lightly. Bake in well-greased deep pie plates for 20 minutes in a moderate oven. The berries must be slightly cooked with a little sugar to start the juice, then spread on the cakes. 14. Peach sherbet. Take a quart can of fine peaches, rub through a sieve, add 1 pint water, 1 cup sugar, and 1 cup orange juice. Freeze like a punch and serve in glasses, adding a tablespoonful of champagne to each glass when served. 15. Ambrosia. Slice half-dozen oranges and place a layer of them in a glass dish. Strew over it powdered sugar and then a layer of desiccated coconut. Repeat alternate layers of fruit and coconut until the dish is full. 16. Batter pudding with peaches. Beat 2 eggs without separating until very light. Add half pint of milk, then 3 cups flour. Beat until smooth. Add a tablespoonful melted butter, 2 teaspoonfuls baking powder. Beat again and stir in carefully 6 peaches, pared and cut into squares. Pour this into the mold and boil continuously for 2 hours. 17. Pudding à la zouave. Blanch half-pound almonds. Pound them in a mortar, a few at a time, adding half a pound of butter. Then add 4 well-beaten eggs, half pint of milk, half pint of sugar, and a glass of raisin wine. Mix this until it forms a smooth paste. Then stir in 1 pound grated apples. These ingredients being properly mingled, put it into a well-buttered mold and bake 1 hour. The raisin wine is simply water in which raisins have been steeped for 2 hours. Then cover and stand in a cool place 24 hours. 18. Baked peach pudding. Boil half cup rice until tender in plenty of boiling salted water. Drain. Put in a farina boiler with 1 cup peach juice. Cook until the juice is nearly or quite absorbed. Then stir into it 1 cup granulated sugar and 2 tablespoonfuls of butter and yolks of 2 eggs. Stir until the sugar is dissolved. Grease a pudding dish. Put in a layer of rice, then a layer of peaches, and so on until the dish is filled. Bake 30 minutes. 19. Tapioca and peach jelly. Soak a cup of tapioca in cold water for several hours. Then put it into a quart of cold water and let it cook very slowly till it becomes a clear jelly. Add a dozen ripe peaches cut into very small pieces and 2 cups of sugar. Let this cook slowly for an hour longer, stirring occasionally. Turn into a mold and let it grow perfectly cold before serving. Serve with cream. 20. Minute pudding. Mix 5 tablespoonfuls flour with half cup of cold, sweet milk and very little salt. Stir into it 1.5 pints boiling sweet milk. Boil 1 minute, stirring constantly. Remove from the fire until lukewarm. Add 3 beaten eggs. Stir until it boils and eat with cream and sugar. 21. Berry pudding. 1 pint milk. 2 beaten eggs. 1 teaspoonful salt. 1/4 teaspoonful soda. Half teaspoonful cream of tartar and flour to make a thick batter. Dissolve the soda in a little water and sift cream of tartar through the flour. 1 pint whortleberries, raspberries, currants, or blackberries dredged with flour, stirred in the last thing. Steam 1 hour. 22. Biscuit glacés. Cook 1 pound of sugar and a pint of water together for 5 minutes. Then add a tablespoonful of vanilla sugar and the well-beaten yolks of 6 eggs. Whisk over the fire for a minute and strain into an earthen or china bowl. Beat until stiff and cold. Then add 4 tablespoonfuls of brandy. Whip 1 pint of cream. Stir it into the mixture. Then fill small biscuit molds. Pack in salt and ice and freeze for an hour and a half or 2 hours. 23. Sydney pudding. 7 sponge cakes of the small oblong kind. 3 ounces of ratafia cake. 2 ounces dried cherries. 1 pint of milk. 5 yolks of eggs. 3 whites ditto. 1 wineglass of brandy and wine, and extract of orange. Place the mixture after it is well mixed in a pie dish well buttered and bake in a slow oven. Be careful that it does not burn. 24. Apple marmalade with sauce. Pare, quarter and core, 6 pounds of tart apples. Add to them 4 pounds of granulated sugar. Boil very slowly for an hour or until thick and jelly-like. When nearly done, add 2 teaspoonfuls of ground cloves. Turn into molds and serve with whipped cream or soft custard. 25. Caramel ice cream. 1 quart cream, ½ pound sugar, 1 vanilla bean, or 2 tablespoonfuls extract. Put the sugar, half the cream, and the beans split in halves on to boil in farina boiler. Stir constantly for 10 minutes. Take from the fire. Take out the bean, and with a blunt knife, scrape out the seeds and soft parts from the inside of the bean, being careful not to waste a bit. Mix the seeds thoroughly with the cream and stand away to cool. When cold, add to the remaining cream and freeze. 26. Milk sherbet. 1 quart of milk, juice of 3 large lemons, and 1 pint sugar. Mix and freeze same as cream. The milk will curdle with the addition of the lemon, but come all right in freezing. 27. Trifle pudding. Put 1 pint milk in double boiler over fire. Separate 4 eggs. Beat whites to a stiff froth. Add to the yolks 4 tablespoonfuls sugar, beat until light. Add the scalding milk to the yolks. Return the whole to the double boiler. Stir over the fire for just a moment until the custard is the consistency of thick cream. Now take from the fire and add 6 grated macaroons, 1/4 teaspoonful or 10 drops bitter almond flavoring. Stand aside to cool. Drop the whites of the eggs by spoonfuls on top of the boiling water. Let them cook for an instant. Remove them carefully. Stand aside to cool. When the custard is cool, add 2 tablespoonfuls of sherry. Turn into a glass dish. Cap it with the whites. Dust it with the powdered macaroons, and it is ready to serve. The whites of the eggs may be omitted if you like just the simple custard. 28. Peach blancmange. Cover half a box of gelatin with half a cup of cold water and let stand for half an hour. Pour over it 1 cup of hot, scalded milk and stir until it is dissolved. Select 8 nice ripe peaches. Peel and seed and press through the sieve. Add 1 cup of pulverized sugar. Beat 1 pint of cream gradually into the peaches. Add the dissolved gelatin well mixed. Pour into molds and stand away to harden. 29. Tutti Frutti. Put 1 pint of sugar and 1 quart of water over the fire in a saucepan. Stir until the sugar is dissolved and boil. After it begins to boil, 5 minutes. Strain and stand aside to cool. The yellow rind of 1 orange may be grated and added to the sugar before it is put over the fire. Select 12 large, juicy oranges. Carefully squeeze out the juice and strain it. Add this to the syrup. Turn this mixture into a freezer and press very hard, stirring evenly and smoothly all the while. Have ready the following mixture of fruit so that the moment the ice is frozen, you may stir the mixture in. Chop very fine, 1/2 pound of candied cherries, 1/2 pound candied apricots, 1/2 pound candied pineapples. Mix and cover the fruit with 4 tablespoonfuls of sherry and 1 tablespoonful of brandy. This can be soaking while you make the water ice, and when that is frozen hard, add the mixture, remove the dasher. Repack the can. Stand away for 1.5 or 2 hours. 30. Lemon pie. Separate 3 eggs. Add gradually to the yolks 1 cup of sugar, the juice and rind of 1 lemon, beating until light. Put a tablespoonful of flour into a cup and add gradually 1/2 a pint of milk. Strain this into the eggs and sugar. Stir until sugar is dissolved. Put into the crust and bake in a moderately quick oven for about 30 minutes or until the center of the pie is jelly-like. Beat the whites of the eggs until light. Then add 3 tablespoonfuls of powdered sugar and beat again until stiff. Heap this over the top of the pie. Return to the oven until a golden brown. 31. Apple fritters. Beat 3 eggs very light. Stir in 1 teaspoonful salt, 1 tablespoonful sugar, the grated rind and juice of 1/2 a lemon, 1 pint milk, 2 cups chopped apple, 2 cups flour. Stir well and fry in lard, or they can be baked on a griddle as pancakes. Sift sugar over them before serving. Sweet dreams.